Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the fifth set. And boy, do I have something special for you guys today. I am filming with ProDirectTennis, Tecnifibre, and Joe Salisbury in London, United Kingdom. What a beautiful day. This is how I showed up, but in a matter of minutes, this is what I looked like thanks to Tecnifibre kitting me out. And then Joe made his entrance. And for those of you who may not know, Joe is a 6-time Grand Slam champion, former world number 1, and in fact, with the exception of Jamie and Andy Murray, the only other Brit to have a number 1 world ranking. So you can only imagine how special this was and how nervous and terrified I was going into this, because I had to interview Joe, I had to warm him up, train with him, and play points with him, all of which I will share in this part of the vlog and the next part. So stay tuned, because in the end of this one, you will see clips of me training and playing a couple of points with Joe, and all the rest will come in part 2. But first, the day started with these close-up beauty hero shots of Joe, since he's the star man, and they took some photos, some videos, and I was just waiting here on the side, super nervous. But when that was done, Joe got up, got on these beautiful grass courts, and that meant I had to warm him up and start playing. And man, I was nervous, because warming Joe up was surreal and amazing, but you can imagine how stressed I was. Because keep in mind, guys, I'm not a professional player. I'm not even a semi-pro. I'm not even a hitting partner. I'm a recreational player, and I had to go straight into warming him up and doing these overhead shots. So they wanted Joe close up hitting overhead. So they're like, hey, can you please feed some balls in? And as you can see, I was already struggling. But they said, please feed the ball so that Joe can run into it. So get it just above the net like that. And I was already stressed. I was like, I'm going to mess this up. This is going to be terrible. But somehow I kept my nerve, and we got the shots that we needed, which meant that we could go on to the serve challenge, which was not my idea. It was ProDirectTennis' idea. It just turned out to be really comical for everybody else and painful for me. So Joe had to hit a can of tennis balls in between my legs. As you can see, self-explanatory. But the reason I was stressed is because he's hitting these serves with a fair amount of pace. They may not look that fast, but it's gonna hurt when it hits you. And indeed, he tagged me a couple of times, and I was like, oh, it's okay, it doesn't hurt. But guys, between you and me, it hurt. Like, my calf was sore for 2 days after. And I kept trying to stop. I was like, okay, cool, let's, we got a couple of funny clips. And they're like, no, he's gotta hit the can. But somehow, despite having a brilliant serve and brilliant accuracy, Joe wasn't hitting the cans, but he was hitting my legs. And so I guess I was just kind of a guinea pig today and had to suck it up. But this is an edited version. This went on for I want to say 4 or 5 minutes straight. We didn't quite get the shot, but it was time to move on. And that meant I then got to do a close-up with the TFight racket, the signature Tecnifibre racket, as you guys know, used by players like Daniil Medvedev and Iga Swiatek. So we did some volleys, I hit some serves, some ground strokes, and I was just testing out the racket and playing, whilst, as you can see, the camera crew for ProDirectTennis were getting close-up shots. And this was a surreal experience, because I've never been filmed by a professional crew, certainly not on a tennis court, so that was cool. And then after that, it was time to do the actual TFight review, where I had to speak about the racket. I didn't have a script, and so I had to wing this whole thing. So let's listen in, you tell me how I did.
Hi guys, I'm here with Tecnifibre, testing out the TFight. Now, I've been trying out this racket all day today, and I have to say, it probably is the perfect balance between power and control. As you may know, Try again. Do I have to do the whole thing, or can I start from as you may know? Yeah? So, as you may know, Tecnifibre have been changing the weight redistribution on these rackets. So now it's more central, which means you get a lower swing weight, and that really helps with more maneuverability without sacrificing any of the stability for the modern game. So this is a great racket for an all-court player or even a baseliner. So for me personally, one of the other things I always look for in a racket is how easy is it to serve with the racket, just because of course that's a little bit of a more complex shot. I have to say with the TFight, as you may have seen in those clips, I had no issues. As soon as I picked up the racket and I was serving with it, first serve, second serve, they really had a nice pop to it, but the precision was still there. So for me overall, just really balanced. I didn't feel like I had to sacrifice anything when playing with this racket. And despite not having used it a lot, it just feels like I have been playing with it for a long time. It really is a seamless transition, which is, I think, a hallmark of a great racket. Alright guys, this is the TFX1. If you want a more power-oriented racket, this is the one for you in the Tecnifibre range. But it also has an internal vibration dampener, which means 36% less vibration than the older models. So absolutely the one for you. Then we have the TF40. So if you want something more precision oriented, you want a little bit more control, maybe you don't like power rackets, Tecnifibre still has you covered. The TF40 is definitely the racket for you in that case. And then last but not least, we of course have the TFight. If you want the best of both worlds, you don't want to sacrifice either power or precision, then this is the racket for you. And of course, this is also my personal favorite.
Alright guys, so everything you heard was in one shot. I just winged the whole thing. So hopefully it was good. That content is going out on socials. And then we did some close-up transitions here, as you can see, for some special effects as the rackets were going to magically swap in my hand post-production in the edits. So this was just cool to be a part of because I didn't know how all of this was shot. You know, I didn't know how you interacted with the camera crew, how the producers designed the day. So what a wonderful experience, and I can't say thank you enough to Tecnifibre and ProDirectTennis. But then the really fun part comes now, because I get to train with Joe, like actually do drills. So here I am asking Joe if he has any ideas of some drills we can try, and we're just having a chat, and he says he definitely has one idea we can do, so let's listen in.
I do one just like one very double specific one is where we practice. One of the things that we work on a lot is having the ball coming quick at you and having to have quick reactions and trying to put the ball away when you're the service partner.
Okay, and do you have a drill in mind that we can try out then?
We have one, it's pretty simple.
Okay.
You basically get someone to stand at the baseline, firing balls at you as if it's the return. Maybe like as if it's a slow second serve, and then the guy is attacking the return. Okay. And you've got to be up there trying to hopefully not defend too much. Right. We try and be as offensive as possible while we're up at the net, and trying to at least put the ball in the court, if not put it away.
All right, let's give it a go then.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So let's try out this volley challenge with Joe. He's pinging these balls in at me, and I'm doing my best to volley them. And I think I did okay. He was saying I did a good job, and he was complimenting me. And I got a couple of nods of approval. See, that one wasn't too bad. That one was horrendous. And I did play a couple of horrendous shots, but, you know, allow it, because I was super nervous, like that one. But some of the others were okay. And Joe was super sweet. He gave me some advice, and I think he was pleasantly surprised. But let's have a look at how a Grand Slam champion and world #1 does it. Because what is that angle on that backhand? And what is this inside-out backhand volley? It's insane how good Joe was, and it shows you the levels. And of course, a double specialist is going to be insane at the net. So I started really pinging these balls in now, as you can see. And Joe wasn't phased. Of course not. Why would he be? But I apparently was phased because I just put this one to the logo at the back, which was just embarrassing with 5 people watching and a camera crew recording. So I was like, I'm so sorry. Let me give you at least another good feed. And of course, Joe played it perfectly. And after that, we did a serve challenge and then played some points out. So here I was just trying to get Joe's serve back, which was a uphill battle in and of itself, as you can see. Now I did get some back, not particularly convincingly, but I did get them back, which was a huge win for me. As you will, I think, see here, I got one back. And I told Joe, if I get it back, let's play the point out. So if you want to see part 2 coming up next week, make sure to subscribe, because you're going to see points play You're going to see a tiebreak challenge and more in part 2, which was so much fun. And there's a lot of good content there. So like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully I will see you guys next week for part 2.